Welcome to Real Talk Columbus, discussing today's market trends and answering your questions. All right, welcome in. Happy New Year's to you. So today's video, we're going to do a Q&A about home buying. And the reason for that is I've seen a lot of people posting this week or the last 7 to 10 days about how their New Year's resolution is to buy a house in 2020. And that is an awesome New Year's resolution, by the way. So just wanted to address a few questions that could help out some of those people who want to buy a house this year. Now, the first question that I've got here is, how much can I afford? Well, most of the time when people are asking about that, what they really mean is they have a monthly payment goal in mind about what they want to pay. Well, what does that translate to in the full purchase price of a house? So I've got an equation here. We're going to look at a factor sheet, and I'm going to show you how you can work backwards from your monthly payment to get to your total purchase price. What we have here is called a factor chart. This is showing us on a 30-year fixed loan, this column is the dollar amount per $1,000 that you're going to pay in your monthly payment. So per $1,000 borrowed. So we're using 4.0 as the interest rate as an example. It's right there in the middle. Your rate may be a little bit lower than that. It may be a little bit higher than that. But when we use a 4.0 interest rate, the factor is $4.78. So you're going to pay $4.78 per $1,000 that you borrow in your monthly payment. So the other thing that we need to consider is what are our taxes and insurance. So for this example, we're going to use a round even number. We're going to use $350 as our taxes and insurance. Now, obviously, taxes and insurance are going to vary from property to property. So what you want to do is get a feel for the market and look at what the actual taxes are on each property and just know generally how much you're going to pay in tax rates when you're looking at properties. So the second thing we want to know is what is our basis? What is the monthly payment that we desire to have? Well, let's just say for this example that we want our payment to be about $1,500 or so. So let's say $1,500 to as much as maybe $1,550. Now, what that means is we have to work backwards, taking out what we're going to pay in taxes and insurance when we factor in to find out what the principal and interest is. So, $1,550 minus $350 gives us $1,200. So that's what we want our P and I to be. So here we go. What we're going to do is we're going to take that $1,200 amount times $1,000 because it's a factor of 1,000. We're going to divide it by our factor, which is 4.78, and that's going to give us approximately $251,000. So what that means is if you want your total monthly payment to be around $1,500 and the taxes and insurance combined are about $350, our total purchase price could be somewhere in the $250,000 range. Now, the second question I've got for you is, how long does it take to buy a house? Well, it's going to vary from person to person, but generally speaking, if you were to make an offer on a property today and that offer was to get accepted today, it's going to be another 30 to 45 days before you can actually close on that property, assuming that you're going to get a mortgage on the property. Now, realistically, you're going to need to give yourself a little bit more time than that because it probably will take you a month or two to be looking at houses and figuring out what's best for you. So my recommendation is if you have a date range of when you want to move, back that up by about 3 months. That is when you need to actually be walking into houses, looking at properties, and getting a feel for the market. Most of the time you're going to be online prior to that, probably 6 to 12 months before that you'll be looking at houses online as well. And that's great. Make sure you check out calabroproperties.com if you're going to do that. Okay, third question. What is the best advice you can give for a first-time home buyer? This is a three-part answer. So first part, find yourself a great agent, me, and a great lender who I can help you find, and have a sit-down meeting with them. Talk about your lifestyle preferences, about your deal breakers, talk about the market, what's happening in each individual market around the areas that you want to be in, and how you can fit in. Anybody who's not willing to sit down and spend some time with you doing those things doesn't have your best interest in mind. So do yourself a favor, meet with us and have a real meeting about what it's going to take. And the third point, do your research. Get to know the areas and the neighborhoods that you want to be in, because the hardest part about deciding on a property for most people is picking out the right neighborhood or the right area. Just because you want to be in or around downtown Columbus, say for example, there's probably 5 or 10 great neighborhoods around the downtown Columbus area. So now we have to figure out how you and what you want and what you want to pay fits into each of those neighborhoods and narrow it down to the top 1 or 2, because that's going to make your search process that much easier. Okay, so those are my answers to those 3 Q&A questions. Stay tuned for our next video. We're going to discuss the home selling process, particularly for first-time home sellers who have it in mind that 2020 is the year that they sell and move up or move to a new house. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.